Just talking a bit about the edging process you go through.
Yeah, look, I know that some blokes will just try and hurry it along because the quicker you get the edging done, the next year on the mower, then the blower, and your job's done. I always think, just as Des said, it's a really important thing. Even if it's just somebody coming down the street, you always know when a lawn's just been mowed. You don't always know if the edges have been done, if it's been a bad job. So, look, that's not a bad edge. There is a little bit of crookedness there, but it's all about going, oh yeah, the edges are done, the lawn's been done, looks really good. So if you look at that versus that,
yeah, it's a massive difference.
You know,
yeah.
And even as I said to Des, I do just this little bit here because, okay, technically that's the neighbour's front, but if you're the client coming home and if you had this overgrown on this part of your driveway, it's not a good look.
But even though it's not, even though it's not really your responsibility, you still do it anyway.
Just go that little bit extra.
Yeah. So let's say here, Matt, obviously you come here, you do a great job here. So early on, obviously, if you're building up around again, obviously you bought one. What about the marketing sort of techniques you would use maybe in this area?
Okay, so I would talk about maintaining their hedges. So it was actually my idea about a quarterly service for this property. They did say to me, how often do you think it would need doing? The very first time I quoted it, I knew that the very first time I was doing it, I would lose money on that particular day because of the time it was going to take. So what you see now isn't necessarily what it was like the very first time. So I factored that into my quoting process. I said, okay, it's going to take me a lot longer the first time, but moving forward, it's not going to take me as long, and therefore that's where you make up your coin. So things like I've already spoken to them about is replacing the mulch in this particular property, probably in another 12 months, and they're aware of that.
But you're proactive with this, aren't you, with the customer?
Oh yeah. I mean,
you're not sitting back waiting. You're the one going out. We can do this. I can do this for you.
Yep.
At training, when I do the Hort, I do a little feature on trailer safety and security.
Yep.
And I get people to give trailer stories. Who's had an incident with a trailer, and the hands go up, and we have a talk about that. And I say to the guys, well, look, pay attention because chances are about a third of you are going to have an incident with your trailer, and probably in the first 3 months because everything's so new. So everyone's got this terrific information going out with the mindset: safety first, quality of your work, and relationship with your customer. So Matt set a record. I'll let you.
Was it a record? I've only got your word on that, Des. But I was just saying as we were packing up, I said to Joel, I learnt the hard way, but make sure these are locked down and your mower cage is secure because, as Des said, invariably you'll drive off and leave the ramp down and rip it off its hinges. Now, I didn't do that per se. So I was in my first month. I had a loan trailer from Bayswater and I was parked outside a property in Hampton, and it was a very narrow street and there was a car parked on the other side, and it was bin day and the Garbo was coming through the street, and I thought, I'll do the right thing. I'll move for him. First and only ever time I'll move for a Garbo, especially if I'm legally parked, or for anybody for that matter. So the ramp was down, I put it up, and it wasn't a system that was like this. It was an old side pin system, and I'm not sure what happened, but clearly it wasn't pinned in. So I drove off, and I was doing a large blocky. So I drove up, turn right, no worries, turn right again. Next thing I hear all this almighty bang. I was like, shit, what is that? And I look, then I can see in the side mirror, there's the ramp down the street. Two things I was very lucky about. One is that it was just the ramp and didn't hit a parked car. Could have easily landed on a parked car. So for a $150 fix, it could have been a lot more expensive. And two, it didn't hit anybody else. So I picked it up, threw it in my mower cage, and finished the job, and then went to a local trailer fix and then did it for $150. But yeah,
I think everyone's had a little bit of an incident. I know these ones here is always when they leave them up.
Yeah,
or they leave them up in a jar and they hit stuff. And
touch wood. The only thing that's happened with this is it flew open recently, but that was because it was a loose bolt at the end. Since had that repaired, and that they've lock nucked that tight, so that shouldn't happen again.
The mower cage ramp, there you go. Make sure it's always locked up.
Oh yeah. But it's just taking that extra 5-10 seconds at the end of a job to know that you've got those locked in and down, because the last thing you want to do is spend a day knowing that you've just cost yourself money or you've hurt somebody, and it just, the rest of your day you're not concentrating on what you should be, which is getting the job done and going home safely to your family.
Yeah.